guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca and I'm your host. And before anything else, welcome to the show. And also, before we proceed with our podcast episode for today, I'm going to introduce a new segment called Fan of the Week. And I'm going to basically read all of your reviews and insights. So if you are interested in becoming the fan of the week, go ahead and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Just search for Small Talk and leave a podcast recommendation or review right there. Or you can share this on your Instagram, and I will pick the best review that I could get. And for this week, the fan of the week is Mai Kelabra. I hope I pronounce your name right. And she said, or he said, thanks for being an inspiration. I've been planning to start a podcast for more than a year. The COVID situation really effed up a lot of things, and I had a lot of things in mind during those times. Listening to some of your episodes gave me the boost to be able to get up and start a podcast of my own, Road to 30. Continue to do what you're doing. Hopefully, I can grow my podcast soon and do a collab with you. Definitely, I hope that you grow your podcast, and when it does, go ahead and invite me, send me a message, and let's see what we can do. But thank you so much, Michael Labra, for listening, and hopefully the podcast have helped you during this crazy time. And this is really exciting, this episode, because in today's episode we are going to do something different. Most of the time, I just I give you a short point, and then I'll give it to you straight. What's the lesson, what you can learn from it. But right now I want to do something different. So instead of me sharing the lessons ASAP, I'm going to share with you a story. And I want you to reflect. I want you to ask yourself, what are the lessons? What are the lessons that you can get from the story that I'm sharing? Who are you, or which character reflects where you are right now and who you want to be? And get the characteristics, the personality, the traits of the certain character that I'm going to share with you. And hopefully that can help you in dealing with one of the most consistent thing, or I think this is the only constant in the world. It's change, right? Dealing with change. We all have a hard time dealing with change. So hopefully this story can help you with that. Now, I want to share with you this story. This is unlike my other podcast episode because I was so moved by this book that I read. I read it in one sitting, and such good books like these, are supposed to be gatekeep. I only share yet, but I'm going to share it with you guys. And the book is basically called Who Moved My Cheese? Okay? So, in this book, there are 4 major characters: Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Haw. Now, out of the 4 imaginary characters, Sniff and Scurry are 2 mice. Hem and Haw are people, little as mice, but act like today's human being. Each of them have special characteristics, like Sniff detects the changes early. Scurry take action and move with quick short steps. Hem, afraid of change and resist to change. And Haw learns and adopt in time when he sees changing can lead to something better. Now, every morning, Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Haw put their running shoes and run through the maze in search of cheese, which makes them healthy and happy. Now, the cheese here stands for what we're constantly working for, whether it's success in our careers, relationship, personal development, finances. That's the cheese. That's the symbol of cheese. So this can apply to you, and this definitely applies to you. Whatever you're working so hard, whatever you're looking forward to, that's your cheese, right? So every morning, the 4 characters run through the maze and search for cheese, which makes them healthy and happy. Sniff and Scurry, the 2 mice, have simple brain and good instincts, which helps them finding special kind of cheese they like. Hem and Haw, two little people having complex brains, emotions, and beliefs help them finding the cheese that they like. They run through the maze, which consists of corridors and containers. Corridors, sorry. They run through the corridors. If found empty, they remember the path and search for new areas. Despite many failures, like going to the wrong way, trapped in a dark container, they somehow succeeded to find the special cheese. It was in Cheese Station C in one of the corridors. So every day, Sniff and Scurry raced to the Cheese Station C and enjoyed the cheese. Whereas Hem and Haw brought their home near Cheese Station. They used to wake up late, come to the cheese station, and enjoy the cheese. They are happy and proud of their success. They decorated their home with writings. Haw writes on the wall, "Having cheese makes you happy." Many days passed. Every morning, Sniff and Scurry, with their good instincts, observes the changes in the nearby areas and the cheese. They noticed that the cheese is decreasing day by day. Whereas Hem and Haw become arrogant of their success. They didn't even notice the change. They thought the cheese will remain forever. One day, the cheese disappeared from the cheese station C. Sniff and Scurry wasn't surprised, as they knew cheese is decreasing day by day. So without thinking and analyzing, they put their running shoes back and moved through the maze to find new cheese. When Hem and Haw came to the cheese station, they were shocked. They asked, "Who moved my cheese?" Hem yelled. Haw shook his head in disbelief. They stood there for a time, and they went home that night hungry and discouraged. Haw wrote on the wall, "The more important cheese is to you, the more you want to hold it." The next day, Hem and Haw come in hope of finding cheese. They looked around the cheese station, but still, the cheese wasn't there. Haw thought about Sniff and Scurry. He thought they should move on to find new cheese. He shared his idea with Hem, but he was disappointed as Hem did not want to go do the hard work again to find new cheese and thus leaving his comfortable home. At the same time, Sniff and Scurry were on the way to find new cheese. They failed sometimes, but later they found new cheese at Cheese Station N. This cheese was more delicious than the previous one. In the meantime, Hem and Haw were analyzing the same things over and over again. Due to the lack of cheese, they were growing weak. Haw realized cheese will never come back again, and he had to find new cheese. He tried to convince Hem, but he failed. He decided to move alone. Now, before leaving, he wrote on the wall, "If you do not change, you become extinct." Now, he went into the maze, and due to the lack of cheese, his steps were painful and slower. He was anxious and thinking of going back. He imagined his future having new cheese, and he managed to move into an unknown container in the search of cheese. And every time he would pass on an unknown spot, he would write on the wall. On one wall, he wrote, "What would you do if you weren't afraid?" At one cheese station, he found small pieces of cheese. He realized if he did come earlier, he could have more cheese. He wrote on the wall again, "Smell the cheese often so you know when it is getting old." When he was feeling good and put his head into the maze without fear, he wrote on the wall, "When you stop being afraid, you feel good." After some failures, he came to Cheese Station N. When he entered into the container, he delighted looking at a huge amount of cheese. Sniff and Scurry were already there and eating the cheese. And Haw met them and enjoyed the new cheese with them. And every day, he now inspects new cheese station and he is aware of every moment. One day, he found his friend Hem. Hem came there tracing his writing on the wall. Now, every character in the story behaves like all of us. Some people are like Sniff and Scurry, who take action immediately as change happens. And some people, like Hem, take action after realizing change. And some people are like Hem, change when it's the only option. Now, of course, the level of struggle for these four different characters is also different. And so before I share my story with you guys, I want to ask you, who are you? Who are you right now? Are you Sniff and Scurry? Or are you like Hem? Or are you like Haw? I'm going to ask you again, who would you like to be in the future? Now, of course, I don't just want to share with you the story. I want to share with you some lessons that I learned as well from the story. The first lesson, but I'm gonna make it quick because again, I'm gonna do this like an assignment for you guys. I want to hear your lesson. If you like feel like I didn't get the story, go get the book, read it. I think I missed out. That's my summary. Okay, I missed out a lot of amazing points. But if you feel like you need to go back, pause it and go back and hear the story again, go ahead. Okay, but these are some of and post your answers. What are your lessons from that story, and how could you apply it in your own life? Share it on Instagram. Tag me at Alec Cuenca or at Small Talk Podcast, and I would love to read and repost all of your lessons. Now, for the lessons, I want to share with you what I learned when I read the book. The first lesson that I learned is change will happen, 100%. Okay, and the more that you hold on to the cheese, the more that you will get hurt when you lose the cheese. And I think this traces back to what the philosophers are saying, that suffering is basically attachment. When you're attached to something and you feel like it's not going to change, it's going to be like that forever, that's when the time that your expectations will not match reality, because reality is change will happen. So do not hold on that tight to your cheese. If you have your cheese with you right now, enjoy it, appreciate it, be grateful for it. But don't hold on too tight. You got to embrace change. Change is the only constant in this world. Whether it's in your job or your business, things change. Things change over time, and you need to change as well. Otherwise, you will lose your cheese like Hem and Haw, and you'll get so freaking frustrated. The second lesson that I learned is do not react, respond. That's two different things, reacting and responding. Now, Sniff and Scurry responded ASAP. They acted on it. They moved together with the change. They anticipated the changes that are happening, and they moved instantly. Now, Hem and Haw reacted. They kept on asking, why is this happening to me? And a lot of us are like that. Why is it happening to me? I didn't do anything wrong. I was just enjoying my cheese. This is unfair. We got to have some answers. We got to justify the situation. Why is this happening to us? And they get stuck. While other people have already moved on and enjoying their better lives, they were stuck. And some of us are like that. We're stuck asking why. Why us? And they didn't realize that it was meant to happen. It was inevitable. Change was inevitable. So don't act like Hem and Haw. Don't blame each other, and don't stay where you are and keep analyzing and thinking about things or asking questions that you don't get any answers from. Do something about it. Focus on the things that you can control and respond to the situation. Change happens when we go out and look for new opportunities and for ways to grow. The opportunities won't come to us. If we keep on asking, we need to put ourselves out there. We need to put our shoes and go out there. Respond to it. So that's the second lesson. The third lesson is overcome fear. I can remember the words of Hall when he wrote, "What would you do if you weren't afraid?" Now, courage is a very important virtue in life. But courage is not the absence of fear, it's a triumph over fear. You want to know a secret? In life, everyone's afraid, everyone's insecure. So instead of you waiting the time that you're not scared anymore so that you could act, why not act scared? Why not act while you're scared? Ask yourself that question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? And here's the thing, most of the time, the fear that we have, it's giving us or showing us risks that are easily reversible. Like, people will judge us, so what? We make a mistake, so what? The mistakes that we would do is much, much better than to just be there and sit there and not learn anything new about life. So don't stay where you are because of your fear, like Haw and Hem. But think about what good fortune will come when you start adapting change. And once you put yourself out there, your fear will disappear. Last one is stay aware. Gotta accept that these things are constant. Be appreciative, be grateful, enjoy it, enjoy the benefit, but notice how it changes slowly. Look for the changes that will happen 5 to 10 years. If you feel like, oh, this is a trend, this is something that I could go into, this is something where my business or my brand should go into, then start learning new skills. Adapt to what you can learn. And stay aware of the changes that are happening around you so you can be prepared. Don't hold on to everything and hold on to the fact that everything changes, but you can prepare yourself. So when the change happens, you now have the toolkit so that the suffering will be much, much less. The last lesson that I learned is enjoy change. You gotta enjoy the change. Change is not bad. Change is just change. They think bad because change usually disrupts their expectations, but maybe our expectations is out of proportion. Maybe it's reasonable, but do we even need to always rely on the certainty that things are going to happen the way we expected it to happen? When we accept that change is the only thing constant in the world, we don't label it as bad. We just accept that change is change. So if that's the case, then might as well enjoy it. Might as well enjoy the process. A lot of people are saying trust the process, but that's not enough. You should enjoy the process as well. Self-care doesn't need to be this very serious thing and, just always serious 100% beast mode. Smile. Have fun. Enjoy change. While a lot of changes are happening, always remember that this is something that you are going to experience for the last time. Every second, every minute that you have, this is the last time that you'll experience it. So might as well enjoy it. Don't add an additional pressure. Enjoy the change that you have. So those are my lessons for this story. I want to hear your lessons. I want to hear what you can share from this story, and go ahead and share it on Instagram at Alec Cuenca or at Small Talk Podcast. And I'm sure I'm going to read a lot of amazing comments from you guys. So I am excited. Cannot wait. And again, thank you guys. If you reached this point, thank you guys for listening. And yeah, go ahead and leave a podcast review on Apple Podcasts if you like this one, or share this with your friends and your family. And always remember that you gotta adapt to the change, because change and taxes are the two things that are only constant in this world. Thank you guys so much. My name is Alec Cuenca. This is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. And I will talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.